Hello, this message is to the American people. And first of all, I just want to say thank you to all the veterans who have served our country honorably. I am too a veteran and I served for 15 years in the United States Marine Corps and I just got out last year. Now, this is the first video I ever make about talking about current events that are happening around the world and here in our country. There's a lot of things that are going on around the world that concern me. And for reasons I can't even go to sleep at night because of those things that are going on. And it's not even that I'm scared or worried. I'm concerned about my children's future. And I think that the American people, those of you who value your children and your children's life and the potential of their future and their kids' future, all the Americans out there that really care about their children's future, we need to step up. We need to rise. We need to stand up together. We can't wait for politicians to make the world a better place. We can't wait for that one in a million political leader or presidential hopeful to make the world a better place. It starts with our neighborhood. It starts with our community. And then after that, it's pretty much up to the people in leadership to make sure that we are in a safer country now than we were before. Sadly, it seems like we are worse off now than we were before. And here's the deal. Let's talk real talk. Okay? You can't just leave it up to one person, which is the President of the United States, which currently is Obama. We cannot leave it up to just one person. Okay, there's a lot of moving parts. The president can only do so much. And I believe that he has done a good job in leading this country the right way. There's a lot of things that I believe he hasn't been able to do because he gets held back. And that's any presidential hopeful that's going to run for office. You're not always going to get what you want. You will with some things. But in order for the country to really change, we need to have somebody in office that is innovative, somebody that has ideas, a new direction for the country. And right now, I haven't seen anybody on television that is inspiring. And here's the problem. For too many years, for too many decades, we have had baby boomers in charge of the United States in leadership. We've had the baby boomer generation holding their hand over the red button for many decades now. What we need is Generation X to move that hand away from the red button and stop from destroying ourselves. Because it isn't just about Black Lives Matter. All life matters here on earth. We need to look at the big picture. We need to look at what's really going on around the world. And what's going on is chaos. We cannot let it get out of hand. It's going to take not only the American people to come together, but all people to come together, even the people that are not involved in politics. We outnumber all the people that want to do wrong in the world. If that wasn't true, we wouldn't be here where we are today. We'd be gone a long time ago. I am sad because at night I can't even sleep. I'm laying there in my bed, looking up at the ceiling, wondering what's going to happen to the world that I live in, that my kids live in, my family and friends live in. And I wonder what it's going to be like next year. And I'm concerned. I'm concerned and I'm worried. I feel like almost like it's a little bit of a nightmare. A nightmare that I have no control over. But here's the thing. I think to myself while I'm laying there, I'm thinking, I could have been born anywhere in the world. I could have been born in Europe. I could have been born in South Africa. I could have been born in Australia. I could have been born in China. But I was born in the United States. Wow. Let's say that there's 350 million people who live in the United States. Okay? Let's say that 300 million people out of 350 million people were born here. You compare that to the rest of the world, and what is the percentage? What is the percentage of the population here on Earth compared to the billions that are around the world? And you're looking at a miracle. That miracle is you. You're that miracle. Because you were born in America, you have an opportunity to be somebody, to be anybody that you want to be. It's up to you how you want to reach that goal and what you want to do to accomplish that goal. So this message is not only to parents and adults that are, older, but it's also to the young men and women. And the children that are old enough to understand what I'm truly saying here. What I'm truly saying is that you are unique. That it is a miracle that you were born in this country where you can make a difference in the world, because this country is currently leading the world. So don't just sit around like a couch potato. Don't just, turn your other cheek when something happens wrong. Don't just watch the news and finish your breakfast and be like, man, that's horrible what happened, and, what can we do? And then you eat your breakfast, you go to work, you work hard, you get your break, you have, a couple of jokes here and there, which is nothing wrong with that. Have some lunch, come back home, and then you watch the news again, and then something else happens. The question is, what can we do from day to day that can make a difference in the world to make it a better place? And I think that if we have or apply 360 awareness, meaning a full circle around you, and pay attention to what's going on in our neighborhoods, in our communities, in our states, in our country, that we can deter anything that might hurt us. Not everything, but possibly anything. We just have to be more vigilant. I learned that in boot camp when we used to have our classes about terrorism in boot camp in the Marines. We learned very early to be very vigilant to our surroundings. And so I want to pass that to all the American people. Just the way we walk the path that we walk on, just the way that we get in our cars and we drive and we pay attention to what's going on so we don't crash, so we don't fall in a hole, so we don't trip over a curve. We need to pay attention to what's going on around us in a manner so that we're safe, so that our children are safe, our families and friends are safe. So please, I'm reaching out to all of you in the United States to try to make a difference by having that 360 awareness. Because if not, if we don't have it, if we're walking down, if we're talking on the cell phone the majority of the time and we're not paying attention to what's going on around us, before you know it, our country's going to crumble. Because we were too busy fiddling with our phones, texting, taking selfies, just not paying attention. And that's what's going on, I believe. So my solution to big problems involving the safety of ourselves and those in our neighborhoods and communities is to just have that 360-degree awareness. Because nobody thinks it's going to happen to them until it happens to them. Okay? You no longer have to join the military to go and fight in a war and die for your country. You just have to be born in the United States. You just have to be going to college or just go to work. And some extremist now is gonna feel enlightened, awakened, and they're going to do what they want to do and cause damage and possibly even take your life. So again, nobody worries about it until it happens to them. So I'm reaching to all you Americans who value your life and value the life of your children and your children's future to please have that 360-degree awareness. Okay? It's not being mentioned by the politicians that are running for president right now. And sadly, I'm a poor individual. You know, I'm just wearing the best threads that I can to speak to you here on YouTube. And I'm not on the ballot. You know, I really wish that if I was running for president, that I had the opportunity to speak to the masses, because there's a lot of ideas that I have that I'd probably be on this video for hours. So my point is to just keep it short and talk to you about current events that are happening here at home and across the world. And just to share with you as I go on with these videos a little bit about myself. So that is a little bit of what's on my mind. And when it comes to candidates running for president, I think it's silly that they have to trash talk about the other candidates just to get ratings or just to make their poll numbers go up. It's not good. It's pretty bad. I think that more should be focused on what the country needs, and also focus on the needs of foreign policies and the leadership that you can bring to the table if you're running. Now, I mentioned earlier that I couldn't sleep and haven't been able to sleep because I worry about the direction that our country is going. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that's going on in the news. It seems like every week there's something going on that's negative. Or maybe that's just what we pay attention to. That's what our brains pay attention to the most, is the negative news, because it has a big effect on us, and we tend to forget the good things. You know, the good thing is that we are in a time where we can make a change. Still, we can have, you know, better leadership in place. And I'm not saying that all the leaders that are in place right now, whether they're in Congress or senators or, you know, governors, that they're not doing a good job. I just think that they can do a better job. And, you know, I hope someday I have my opportunity to lead. I don't want to just be a leader sitting back in a chair and talking to you on YouTube. I want to actually be out there and doing something, whether it's for my community, for my neighborhood, or for my state or my country. I want to be more involved. And so, you know, I did 15 years in the military, and I got good stories and I got bad stories. You know, maybe someday I'll write a book about it, you know, but I'll be here for hours and hours just telling you about the goods and the bads, and I don't want to do that. So what I want to do is just be able to reach out to as many people as I can reach out here in the few minutes that I talk, and I hope that I can reach many people with some of the ideas that I have, and I hope that people can write me through YouTube or get a hold of me through YouTube, and because right now I just want to keep it in YouTube because I like YouTube. There's a lot of good videos in YouTube, and I spend most of my time on YouTube just kind of checking out what's going on around the world and trying to stay up to date because sometimes I don't always get to sit down and watch the news. But let's talk a little bit more about what's going on around the world. So we have this force, this negative force that's affecting the lives of millions of people around the world, and that's ISIS. And a lot of governments are getting together now and trying to figure out what to do about them. Well, I think we had a better chance to do something about 2 years ago. Unfortunately, that's in the past and there's nothing we can do about it. What we can do now is use our resources that we have to use them in a way that no other country has ever used them before. We need the great think tanks to come together and find different solutions of how to deal with this ISIS threat that seems to be pouring all over the world. It seems to just it's like sipping out like a virus around the world, and we gotta find a way to diminish it, to weaken it, and ultimately destroy it, like you would with the vaccine. And it's gonna take some time. It's not gonna happen overnight, but let's not leave it to just one person to come up with all the ideas. I think if we unite as a people of the world to diminish this threat, I think we'll be better off. So with that being said, I just want to say that if we come together to come up with ideas to defeat this threat, I think that we'll be better off in the future. It's crazy that it's gotten to this point. It's crazy that every week, it seems, we're having an attack somewhere in the United States. It's mind-boggling. And nobody worries about it until it really happens to them. I wish that I get the opportunity to do my part and do what I can to bring ideas to the table and change the way things are going. But unfortunately, I'm not a politician right now. I'm just a middle class American who is concerned about their children's future. And the fact that if we don't change what's going on, we're not going to have much of a future for our kids. And then they're going to look at us and they're going to wonder, why didn't we do anything about it? Right now, it's up to Generation X to step up, to lead the millennials into a better future and to let the baby boomers retire so that way we can actually implement better changes now, not 20 years from now. Now. And real changes. Not just talk about the changes, but actually make the changes. A politician or a presidential hopeful can talk about changes that they want to do. But if they don't rally up support, then it's just a thought. That's all. Now, let's get to the bottom of this. I mentioned that I am a middle class American. And it's hard. Times are hard. But if I had just one opportunity to make a difference, I would have to do it right now. So, let's just say I wanted to run for president. I'm going to say right now that I'm going to focus right now on the next term in the year 2020 to run for president. And here's what I'm going to do. 2020. Think about that for a second. What does that mean? Well, to me that means having a perfect vision, right? You know, that 2020 vision. Okay, that's what I want to focus on. God willing, the next president that comes, let's hope that they are very good and that they've been doing a good job and that the country is no worse than it is right now, 4 years from now. Okay? But if you're tired of the same baby boomers being in charge of the United States as leaders, then please understand that we need Generation X to have a chance. Give us a chance. So with that being said, in the year 2020, I would like to focus on a better vision. Okay? I want to focus on everything better that the United States can be. Because I believe that 2020 should be the year of evolution, not revolution. Evolution, not revolution. That's what I believe. Our American men and women have fought in many wars in different centuries, and we've lost men and women by the hundreds of thousands. And maybe one of those patriotic Americans that served their country and gave the ultimate sacrifice had a good idea. Had an idea to change the world. And now they're no longer here. Because they took that idea to their grave. Why? Because we had a military draft. Because we, as leaders, convinced the world that we needed to go to war and put our men and women in harm's way, and they lost their lives. And sadly, we lost not only a unique individual that rose up to the occasion, answered the calling, but we also lost somebody that had an idea. This thinking of mine was created here whenever I served in Iraq in 2004. Now, I wasn't an infantry Marine that was in the front lines and kicking doors and taking names. I worked more in the rear with the gear, is how the Marines say it. But I seen what happens in war, and I learned that life is valuable. And because of the differences between nations, all it takes is some kind of act of aggression, and things can just change just like that. One year you're in the bar enjoying a beer and talking with your friends and laughing about life and joking about this and joking about that and talking about how much you love your girlfriend and your child that you had with her, and thinking about getting married, and all of a sudden a year later you find yourself in a place that seems so chaotic and, you know, kind of like a nightmare, where you're like, wow, how did it come to this? And I just want to say that if things don't change, a lot more people are going to be in that situation. Now, if you ask me, I think that my generation, Generation X, has done their part to fight in the wars that we were asked to fight in. My generation did their part, stood up and served our country in the wars, in the most recent wars, and in the current war that's going on against terrorism. My country seems like sometimes it's falling apart. You know, but if we didn't have the brave men and women who are serving the country now and have served it in the past, we wouldn't have what we have today, and that's freedom. And I don't know why other countries disagree with what we're doing, but I think we should continue to do the right things in our country, because you know why? You see that flag behind me? I don't just see a flag. I see a symbol, not just of freedom, but a symbol to the world that we not only value freedom in our country, but we value and we want the world to have freedom, because that is the ultimate thing to have as a species, is to have freedom. Those stars that I see on the flag behind me remind me of the stars that I see when I look up at the night sky. And we look up at the night sky and we wonder what's out there. We wonder whether we're alone in the universe. And to me, that flag behind me represents everything that we are going to be in the future, aside from just leading the world. We lead the world in technology. We lead the world in innovative ideas, research, and military. And when I look at the flag and I see the stars, I see that we can reach out to the stars and possibly come across different civilizations of different species that could possibly exist out there. I mean, let's not deny it. There's people seeing things out there around the world right now, and they're not crazy. I've seen things flying around, and it's not just because I'm from Roswell, New Mexico, but I've seen things as a kid. Even whenever I was living in Texas with my mom and all these other states that I've had the opportunity to live in, I've seen things. I've witnessed things. But back to the flag. So you see the stars behind me, and to me they represent where we could go once we get our act together here on Earth. See, right now we have only one thing in common as a world species. One thing in common. We have a threat. We have this virus of hate and extremist ideas of these people that is just trying to rip everything apart. And until we figure out how to diminish the problem, the stars that we see up in the sky is all that we're going to see in the sky, and we're never going to reach any other level of height that we've reached in the 60s when we landed on the moon. We're never going to get to Mars to see what's out there. We're going to be stuck on this planet if we don't come together for a common purpose. And that common purpose is to get rid of ISIS, to get rid of all these radicals out there that just want to destroy the world for whatever reason. It's pretty sad. And I'm getting frustrated. Very frustrated. I did my part serving my country. Other motivated individuals in boot camp right now in all services are doing their part right now. What are you doing is the question. A lot of politicians today don't realize that it's more than just the safety of the United States, but the safety of the world. And they need to stop trash talking on each other. If I was a candidate right now, I would not be talking 80% of my time about this candidate and 80% of my time about that candidate. In fact, I hardly don't even want to bring it up at all, because right now I don't even see anybody that I would even vote for. I mean, I have a few names out there, but I just, it's mind-boggling what's going on, and that certain things are being said by these presidential candidates, and they're getting away with it. The media is repeating it and repeating it, and it seems like polls are going up. How? I don't know. But I hope that we have a good candidate that is chosen both in the Republican and Democratic Party, and hopefully in the Independent Party. And so I'm just going to go ahead and come to a close here in the next few minutes. You're probably wondering, well, why is there a rhino behind you? You've probably been wondering that since you clicked on the video. Well, you know, I guess you can say I'm more for the Democratic Party, but you know, there's some things that I value about the Republican Party too, and some of the things that they've done for the United States. Both parties have done great things, and but one of the most inspiring presidents to me is George Washington. He was an independent, and you know, ideologically, I'm kind of like an independent. My mind is more independent driven, I guess you could say. So I was thinking, the Republicans have their elephant as a logo. They're motivated by it, and then you have the Democratic Party that has the donkey as a logo. They're motivated by it. So I was thinking, what does the Independents have? Do they have a logo? I never see it on TV or hear about it. So I figured, what logo can I come up with to kind of compete against, the other two logos? So I was like, how about a rhino? How about a rhino? Well, the elephant's not even from the United States. Neither was the donkey. So why not a rhino? But why pick the rhino? Because the rhino is a majestic animal. If you do research on the rhino, it will tell you more about it. It's actually sort of related to the majestic unicorn. But what it stands for is for, not only majestic, but it stands for like innovation, evolution, and new ideas, stuff like that. Just look it up and it'll tell you a little bit more about it. So that's why I have it behind me, because that's my motivation. If I were to run as an independent in the future, that would be my logo. And then we have the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor behind me, which represents the United States Marine Corps. That's why I have the flags back there. And that's about it. So I hope I didn't bore you too much, but yeah, I could have been more direct, I guess you could say, but I didn't want to do too much yelling, or I didn't want to scare anybody. But we need somebody in the White House that not only wants to be there, wants to make a difference, wants to change, but somebody that has ideas, or at least knows how to get people together that has ideas to make a change that has never been done before. So until then, like they say, you get what you get, you don't throw a fit. Until the Generation Xers step up and lead from the front, or have the opportunity to let the baby boomers retire, you get what you get as a presidential candidate. But if you would be interested in somebody like me that has ideas and wants to do something different than any other candidate is doing, then I would hope that you were able to text me, let me know, comment below, and let me know what you think. Because am I making sense is what I want to know. Now, as far as trash talking, can I do trash talking? Yes. But is it the right thing to do? No. Unfortunately, some people in the United States think that it is. Unfortunately. And at least that's what they're showing in the polls, because Mr. Donald Trump just keeps on bashing out at individuals, and probably even bash out at me, saying, oh, this guy's saying he's middle class and you don't know nothing about politics. Well, he's not even a politician either. He's just rich. I'm the opposite of him, basically. I'm somebody, I'm a nobody in his eyes, basically, is what he would be saying. But you get me up on stage with him and I'll tell you. I'll show you what's up. I ain't going to let him trash talk to me, because, you know what, I'm already at the bottom. Or, a nobody in his eyes. But give me the opportunity to go toe-to-toe with this guy, and I guarantee you, I'm not going to let him talk me down. I mean, he's not going to like what I have to say, okay? If you're looking for a guy, if you're looking for a champion, if you're looking for a leader that's not afraid to speak his mind also, and stand up to this guy, then you're looking at the right person. But You know, it's up to you, the American people, if you want me to run for president now or I run for president in the year 2020. You decide. You can pick the guy that's winning right now, or you can change the tide and share this video with whoever you think you want to share it with, and let's see what we can do. Generation X, let's do this. I'm ready. Are you ready? Let's do it. Thank you for watching.